Hi, Claire. Currently going through the Ocala National Forest. Thinking about my friend Stuart. You know, I think this is where he had the bear adventure. We're going to get spotty connection going through a national forest. So if it cuts out, I apologize, but going through the Ocala National Forest, thinking about my friend Stuart. And all the adventures we had. Looks like my music has stopped. Maybe the phone has crashed. It ran the music as well as the video here. But anyhow, I'm going through the Ocala National Forest and thinking of Stuart and all the road trips he and I took over the years. I had known Stuart for 36 years. Since he was in high school. Well, I was in high school. I guess I was a senior. He was a couple years behind me. But we took a lot of road trips, some of it throughout Florida. I think some of it all the way up to Georgia. You know, so over the years we took a lot of trips. I don't think we ever went to the Ocala National Forest though. Now he did that later on his own, his trail name Ace. You know, camping and stuff, hiking the trails. I think the last time you guys saw me up here, I was doing the knife gig for Hessler. I don't know if you guys remember that. When we did the knife gig and they stuck me up here, it was like during the winter. When it was like, it dropped down, like one of the coldest winters Florida had. It dropped down to like 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like freezing. You know, it's enough to freeze. And I was up in this area. For those of you who don't know the Villages, it's like a retirement community in Florida. And I had to go up to the Villages to do the knife gig at the Sam's Club up there. And I remember, you know, trying to sleep in the van and how cold it was. It was like the coldest I've ever experienced in Florida in a van. And it was just bad. You know, so anyhow, I think we're going through a little town. It was kind of fitting to be driving through Ocala National Forest area here, as, you know, I'm reminiscing about Stuart. Did have something I wanted to point out to those of you who have family, you know, whether or not they're around you or not. Something that I think might be a little tip based on what's happening right now. My advice for you, if you're still alive, which I hope you are if you're watching this video, you probably want to make your will. You know, you might want to look into making your last will and testament. There were a lot of things that Stuart and I discussed, and I thought he would have had a will, but because he doesn't have a will, there's now, you know, a lot of turmoil that didn't need to be. And, you know, I'm hoping, and I know I'm not hoping, I know in the end everything will work out exactly as it should. But really, when you don't have a will, it leaves the people who are alive scrambling and can cause conflict. And you might not know how much conflict it can cause, but it's safer and better to have a will, a legal will, so that if something were to happen to you, there's no question as to what you really wanted to happen, you know, should you pass. When you don't have that, it sets up for a lot of heartache. So that's one big tip, you know, that came out of Stuart's passing. I guess people already knew that, but you know, Stuart was pretty young. I'm in process of doing my will, you know, because of this. Because, well, I didn't tell you guys this, but I almost croaked this Sunday. I almost died. Yeah, you know, I've been working on the house, and there's an interesting story about what happened too, you know, with that incident. But I was working on the house and was up on the roof of there's like a building in the back of the house that is like a brick building, a little 1-bedroom building, and the roof was all rotted and stuff. And that, you know, you had seen all the supplies to repair the roof up, you know, in the mobile home. That out, so I wanted to get the roof cleared off and started to clear out the roof of the little outbuilding, repair it. So I started to cut the roof using the extended saw, but I had to climb up on a ladder. Like I was at the very top of the ladder, standing on it. Noise and ruckus and flying around the hawk. But the hawk just sat there looking at me, and he had his head tilted like, "What are you doing?" And I looked at him, and I looked at the blue jays, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Why are the blue jays not afraid of the hawk? And then the blue jays went away, and the hawk just stayed there watching me. And I was like cutting the branches, and I was like, you know, looking at where the branches were falling. And I was like, you know, there's a possibility of a branch hitting a rafter and breaking it. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then I was like, well, let me cut this one last branch. And the hawk stood up there, you know, on that on the power line watching me the whole time, quietly. He'd been there like over an hour and a half watching me. And I cut that last branch, and sure enough, it fell directly on the rafter that was rotted, that was holding up my ladder. Yeah. The ladder fell with me standing on it. I was on the top of the ladder, and I don't know how this happened, but I should have fallen and possibly broken my neck or something. I mean, I was really up high at the very top of the ladder, and it fell with me standing on it. But the weird thing was, I rode the ladder as it was falling down like a surfboard. Like, it stayed up. It didn't, like, throw me off, which was really weird. So the ladder was falling, and I stayed standing. And then it hit a second rafter, barely. There was a second rafter, you know, it's falling through, and it hit the second rafter and just caught a tiny little portion of one arm of the ladder. So just picture a ladder kind of standing by itself, leaning, and there's one arm that's leaning on a raft and the other one's free, and I'm staying at the top of that ladder. Yeah. So it didn't completely collapse. The second rafter didn't break, and I was like shaking, but I was like, what the heck? And why am I not dead? And then I had to get down that ladder, and it's like you're trying to climb down a ladder that has nothing holding it up. So it was like a balancing act, and I managed to get down, and I was like, oh my God, I could have just died just now, and no one would even know. And it was on Halloween. The troops would come and think this was a really realistic looking decoration. No one would even know I was out there, laying there dead, broken neck or something. So then I got up, you know, I mean, I went out to look at the hawk again, and he was gone, but then he flew by me, like he was trying to make sure I was okay. So he flew by, like I'm talking like right by me as I walked out of the building, and then went into the other yard next to me, and then gave me a look, and then flew on. I thought that was kind of weird and interesting, you know. I was thinking about the hawk and how we saw it. Then I looked up what it means to see a hawk, and it says, like, you know, you're being protected. The hawk was there the whole time I was up on the roof, and then I didn't croak. Even I fell from a ladder. I fell with the ladder, which was crazy. But anyhow, I go on a tangent. But yeah, if you don't have a will, consider making one. Seriously. There's a lot of stuff that you don't think would become a problem, but without a will, it becomes a problem for those who love you, and it becomes a problem. So if you haven't written one, consider making one. You can download a template. I Googled, for the state that I'm in, Florida. I Googled like a template for a last will, and I'll be doing it and getting it notarized and filed and all that, so that if anything happens, there's no question as to what my wishes were, But just in case, I'm going to tell you what my wishes are, some of them. So let me tell you my wishes on YouTube. So if anyone ever wants to argue about what Denoy wanted, okay, at least with me, in regards to me, those of you who know me, if I should croak before you, know this, okay? I don't want you to cry for me, at least not for more than a few minutes. Don't be sad. I had a very good life. I got to see a lot of things. I got to meet a lot of interesting people. I got to do a lot of amazing things. I got to come to America. Yeah, the people that are in America, you kind of take being in America for granted. But a lot of people from overseas, they have this dream of what America is. Now, I don't want to tell them sometimes that America is a nightmare. And not at all like that dream that you have as a foreigner. But America's not a bad place to be. It's one of the better places to be in the world, even though there are issues here. But I got to come live in America as an American. I got educated in America. I got to meet all sorts of interesting people and do all sorts of interesting jobs. I even got to be on YouTube.